Has running your business left you feeling exhausted, unmotivated, and completely disconnected from your why? If you're nodding your head, you might be experiencing burnout. And if you are, we have an amazing resource for you. Burned, How Business Owners Can Overcome Burnout and Fuel Success is your guide to regaining control and reigniting your passion. Our friend and fellow business owner Julie B. wrote this book after her own epic burnout. Burn bright, not out, because your business and your well-being deserve it. Grab your copy of Burn today at the link in our show notes and fuel your success.
Building a business can feel like a roller coaster.
Financial headaches, hiring drama, and marketing overwhelm are just a few things that make for a bumpy experience. But with the right people sitting next to you, you might actually enjoy the ride.
That's why we started Breaking Even Better, to demystify entrepreneurship so we can make the ups and downs a hell of a lot more fun.
Each week, we'll bring you the raw, real, and unfiltered insights from our own experiences and expertise. If you're ready for no BS, honest stories, and a lot of laughter, then buckle in and listen up.
And let's ride this roller coaster together.
Welcome to Breaking Even Better podcast, where we ditch the fluff and we talk real business mess. I'm Carolina Ponte, your fractional CFO, and I'm here with my co-host, Brenda Harris and Trish Seaman.
Hey, y'all.
Hey.
Today, we have Nicole Milone.
One of our favorites.
As our special guest, and we are so excited. This is very personal because this is how we got started. The four of us, guys.
That's right.
We made it happen.
We did. We made it happen. Many a late night dinner.
Yes. So Nicole didn't just inherit a business. She inherited someone else's brand. And after losing her partner, she had to decide, do I keep things going or do I make it my own? Welcome to the show. We are so glad you're here.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
I want to go back to the moment you realized this wasn't your brand. You were grieving, running a business, and trying to figure out what the hell was next. What did that look like?
It looks scary. Honestly, it was, what did I want to be when I grow up? That's what I thought of is, what does this look like and what do I want it to be? And so it was also very encouraging and exciting because I had the opportunity to make it what I wanted it to be. And it was using my partners to help me figure out what that was. And so that's exactly what I did was, what did I want the future of my company to look like? And who did I want to be my customers? Because to me, it's all about doing business with people you enjoy doing business with. Mm-hmm. So I sat back and I said, who's my ideal client? Mm-hmm. And then built my ideas off of that. So that's really how I came to the idea of serving first generation millionaires. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. My husband and I thought, who do we most resonate with? And we were able to, my partner was able to help us build our first million in net worth and then million in assets. And so it was like, how do we help other people like us? Like, how do we help them start to appreciate wealth? Because it's scary when you get there. Or along the way, because no one teaches you about this, right? No one teaches you how to amass wealth or how to make money work for you. And that was really what drove me, and my passion is to teach people about how money works. So I wanted to find more people like that would appreciate what I could bring to the table.
That's awesome. So I have a question for you. So you lose your partner and you're grieving, but somewhere inside that this change is also going to bring about some additional changes, not just a change for you, but a change for your team. So when you're running everything, how were you able to manage separating the grief from your gut instinct that this was the beginning as much as it was an end?
At first, I couldn't.
Yeah.
It's a great question. I couldn't see the trees through the forest. I couldn't see anything, right? Like at first. It was just, for me at first, it was just take care of the customers. Mm-hmm. just help out in any way that I could, because I knew that's what she would want me to do. That's what she instilled in me. And as we were building the practice, so I knew I just had to do that. And then it was, I need to do it my way now. And there was a switch. It was kind of like a flip. And I was like, gosh, I know I can do this and I want to do it my way now. And so it was really a sign from her that that allowed me to move forward, and my team as well. I have a team of 2 women who were newer to the practice, and what I mean newer, still 7 or 8 years with us, and then another person who was her niece and 16 years with us. She's worked for the practice longer than I have. I've been a client longer, but so it was difficult for us to rebrand, to think about rebranding, because it was giving up the past, at least in my mind. It was giving up the past and moving forward in our future. And Debbie gave us a sign. I shared that with Jen, and she's like, "Oh my God, thank you for sharing that with me. And let's do this. Let's rebrand. She's telling us it's okay." So I get tears in my eyes.
That's
because
all right.
of that. It was goosebumps. It was all the things, and I will someday share that for everyone to know. But it was her sign to tell us to move forward, and we've never looked back.
You're so strong.
Well,
it's a brave thing. It's
very brave.
hard.
Amazing.
And that was actually my next question. You were speaking of signs. I was going to ask you, can you give us maybe 1 or 2 signs? And it may not have to be the ones that bring tears to your eyes, but other signs that might have led you to changing. And I know it wasn't just grief, because it couldn't be just grief. What else do you know, or did you feel that you needed to change and make it your own brand?
Well, I remember having a conversation with Debbie in her office of what I wanted to do in the future. And she stood up and she looked at me and she said, "I know that you will do that. That's just not where I'm at." So I go back to that conversation when I start to doubt myself or question that she wouldn't want me to do this. So that's always one memory that I have that is like, okay, this is okay to do this. And then what happened ultimately is I found a bracelet. And at the end of the day, Debbie didn't wear bracelets. And I know because I bought her one for Christmas and she gave it back to me. And it was a really nice bracelet.
And she didn't want to re-gift it. She just said, no, get it back.
Yeah. She said, "I appreciate this more than you know, but I don't wear bracelets. Take it back." And I was like, "Oh, wow, ouch." Right. You know? Oh, well, I was really I had a thoughtful gift. And so when she had gifted a bunch of jewelry to me for my children when she was downsizing her apartment, I had never gone through the jewelry because it just didn't happen. And so I went through the jewelry, and this bracelet fell out of a mangled ball of jewelry. I looked up and I said, "What the hell? You don't wear bracelets. Why is there a bracelet?" And it had fallen, what I didn't know, it was upside down. And I turned it over, and it was a bracelet of smiling stars.
Wow.
And I just lost it. I started bawling, and I thought, "Whoa, wait, what?" And I called Jen, and she's like, "She's giving us permission. This is her sign."
Right.
And so that was it. You know, I mean, that was the ultimate of all the memories and all of the permission that I got, but I also get it from clients, right? We very much focus on, I have a role within the business, a person who calls our clients after meetings to ensure that we're doing what we're supposed to be doing, and could we do things better? We call it voice of client. And they are, all of them, they give so much feedback that, man, you never skipped a beat. We trust in what's happening. We see the vision, we understand, and we never second guess. Debbie left this in the right hands. And that's really powerful for me
That is so
and for
beautiful.
our team as well. Like, that's so powerful to know that we're really put so much into taking care of them. And that was, that's all the validation that I need.
I love that you got a bracelet as a sign, because she didn't wear them, but you do.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's kind of like a handoff. I think that's really special.
I should have worn it today. I didn't even think about it.
That's right. I don't think
And then it had the
It's okay.
smiling stars.
Yeah, the
smiling
smiling
stars.
Yeah, the
Which
smiling.
you are the smiling.
wow.
you really are.
Person. Absolutely.
Well, I attribute it, to my necklace that I've worn for 20 years,
Right.
a smiley face.
Absolutely.
And then she loved the sun.
Right.
So it's a combination of both.
Right.
Nothing happens by coincidence,
Yeah.
guys. That's what I always say. When you just got to pay attention to what's going on.
Yeah.
So now let's switch it up a little bit. Let's talk money.
Ooh.
Okay? Because rebranding can get expensive. So how did you manage while still keeping the lights on?
In all honesty, I put the money in myself. It was my vision, my brand. So in order to do it, it was my husband and I. We decided, the cost, this is what it's going to cost, and this is what we need to do to move forward. So I put owner's capital into the business.
I never knew
Nice.
that.
Did you prioritize things? Like, did you say, let me do the logo, let me do the website? Like, what phase are you in now at this point once you finished with your prioritizations?
Yeah, we definitely prioritized, right, Trish?
You sure did. It was awesome.
Yes, it was. Well, we needed a new website for sure, but the brand, the logo, that all came out first.
Okay.
And it was to start teasing the information. And then one of the things that we did, which was very important to me, was a legacy page. And we will continue to do that. But really, the reason we're here today is Debbie and remembering her and what she brought as a female to the financial services industry.
Right.
She was truly a trailblazer in that she was 70 years old and started as a stockbroker in New York with two men as their assistant. Right. And so she just continued to power through. And I want to honor that and everything that she brought to our industry. And that's why we focus on women in general, was that she always wanted women and wanted to empower them. So prioritizing the brand was really important. So knowing a website takes a while, right? So doing that, then starting with a name. The name took forever. And Trish kept going, you got to get something out there. And I was like, no, it has to be the name. Like, it's not, it's to me,
very personal.
It was very personal. And so I kept coming, and then they set a deadline, and I was like, okay, I don't give a shit about a deadline. I still needed the name, and something came to me. I was like, actually, it was a meditation that I did, where the name came to me, and it was like you're in an arrow, and it's going to shoot you somewhere. And I got shot to the stars, to the sun, and I was like, so it's got to be somewhere around the sun. And then, so that's where Solaris came from, is from that meditation. And then thinking back of Debbie's appreciation for the beach and the sun, and she always loved to be in the sun. So it was kind of just a mixture of all of that. So that's where the name came from. But prioritizing those, because you can't do branding without the name.
Right.
So then once you have the name, things started kind of rocking and rolling, and we were done within 4 months or so. But trying to figure out, also it started with our persona, right?
It did. And that's actually what I was going to ask you, is like, what was your process around deciding what to keep versus, because it's not like you said, Debbie did build a brand, and she did build, and she had an audience. But to your point, you start with not only who do we want to be, but to whom. Who's our target audience and what will resonate with them. Yeah. So, that's where we started.
Yeah, we definitely started there. I forgot all about that part.
It took a while. It was a long process.
It was. Not to say that it was a straightforward process, right? No. I mean, this is very intimate to come up with something that people are going to then later on recognize you for.
Business brands for small business owners are always personal. This was extra. This was so much more because, and again, kind of our topic today is, you had to step into the shoes of someone else's brand, even though you were partners with her. It was a brand that she started, and now all those choices were going to fall on you, and you were transitioning to a new persona. So you had multiple changes, plus you were grieving, plus your team was grieving. So there was a lot. There was a lot there. So again, I'm curious about your process around, and it sounds like meditation came into play, but what were like the markers that you were looking for things that you wanted to change versus things you wanted to keep?
I would attribute a lot of that to you and Doug, to be honest. I didn't know what needed to change. I had no idea. I was never a business owner. I was a single contributor my entire career. I didn't know what it was like to change a brand. I didn't know what it was like to figure out what kind of customer you wanted to deal with. I like to help everyone. And that's the problem is you can't brand to everyone. You have to have a niche because then that's how you focus in on, which I get. I always love your bald-headed
my
story
analogy
into a hair salon. Yes, you're going to sell to him. Yes. So it was, the process was listening to my experts. That was my learning. And I don't know, I didn't know anything. So I had to hire professionals to help me walk through the steps of exactly what to do because I also was the only licensed advisor. Right. So I had to take care of all the clients. So this other stuff, such as branding and figuring out who we wanted to work with, that was my after hours job. Because my during hours job was taking care of our enormous client base that we had between the two of us. So I didn't have the capability of being able to come up with the ideas myself. I had to have someone say, this is what you need to do right now. Okay, let me go sit with that for a few minutes and come up with that and then help me tweak it because I didn't know what I was doing at the end of the day.
Do you guys hear that? Hiring professionals who know what they're doing versus you, I don't know, Googling it?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Just going to drop that there.
Just
Yeah, just leave that there because we need to know.
I know you mentioned you hire a professional for the rebranding. And I know the professional is right here in this room.
She is.
Our very own Trish Seaman from Go Beyond. So can you share a little bit about what that process was like and how the team helped?
Yeah. Well, I would actually say I think Trish should tell us because I, as the owner, was going through all the things. And how did they help? I think she'd be better off explaining how they helped because I couldn't have done it without them. So, Trish?
Well, I feel like you're stronger than you think. I think you probably would have gotten further than you think. However, we did provide structure around what that process looks like. And again, in this particular circumstance, Nicole, you and I are good friends, and I knew how much this broke your heart, and I knew how much the change needed to happen too. Because on the one hand, you've got this grieving person, and on the other hand, you have a business that has to continue that is not only serving you and not only serving your husband and your family, but the rest of your team and a bunch of also, in some cases, grieving clients. People don't necessarily realize that. And that's the interesting thing about being a small business owner here too, is that there is crossover where sometimes your clients do become friends. But with regards to the process itself, it was really getting back to the fundamentals and saying, okay, yes, we do need to serve your existing clients, but this business also needs to stay afloat and it needs to grow. And that also means that we might need to reposition. So with Debbie's passing, we could have kept everything the way that it was, but it wouldn't have been true to you, and it wouldn't have been true to the future, and it wouldn't have been true to any new clients that you had. So reframing who your target audience was going to be and what was going to resonate best with them was really the process that we put you through. And then there's also a little bit of guidance. Make no mistake that marketing is, without question, it's masquerading as psychology. Make no mistake. There's a reason why candy bars sit where they do in the grocery store. It's psychology. There's a reason why certain words resonate. It's psychology, which is actually my degree, not marketing. So I think there was an element of sensitivity that needed to happen, but also, all right, girl, the show must go on. I know you're sad, but the show must go on. And that's kind of where a deadline came from, too. It was really more to instill an additional piece of structure to what was really kind of a very emotional. We needed to kind of put the liquid of emotion into a container is really what the deadline was and what the structure was for.
Yeah.
Our girl and her analogies.
I know, right?
Put the liquid in a container.
I do love an analogy. You're not wrong.
This is great.
I know the first time when we had our dinner, you came with the idea of what you wanted to do, and we was able to talk a little bit about it. I believe that was at Burton's that
Probably
day.
Burton's.
I remember.
It was my birthday.
Yes,
Right.
So we talked about it
Yeah.
then. So I'm glad we was at least in the mix. And I know Trish had a bigger part in it, but I appreciate that. But I wanted to know if you had any kickback from anybody or any pushback, like saying that we liked it the old way better, or just saying that they're not ready to move. Because some people get complacent and want to stay where they're at. So did you get any kickback?
Actually, no, I didn't. For me, it was the opposite, like not kickback from people. I had to provide kickback, if that makes sense.
Right.
And what I mean by that is I had to downsize our book.
Right.
Okay, we had over 500 households, 500 clients. I was a single solopreneur at the only advisor at the time. So I really had to do some analysis. The whole 80-20 rule is real.
Yes, it is.
Miss Finance Lady over here. And really digest what was profitable to us and what wasn't, and then make some hard decisions. So the clients that we have kept have really enjoyed and are excited about the future. And if they are not, then I would just explain to them, and understand from them what are their concerns. But I really haven't had any pushback. Most of them say they trusted Debbie, so they trusted that she chose the right person. Right. And I'm hoping that I'm showing them in my actions that I was the right person.
So let's piggyback on that too. So because you and Debbie are different people, so how would you say you've differentiated your own voice and not just be like the echo of Debbie? Like what activities have you engaged in? Obviously the rebrand is part of it, but you as an individual, because you were and are very unique from Debbie. All of us knew Debbie and she was a lovely woman, but you are a decidedly different person. So I'm just curious about how are you curating your own voice with your clients?
I'm all about education. Not that Debbie wasn't. Okay. I mean, that's what we shared together, was making sure financial literacy was very important to us. And that's kind of what drew us together, even as clients before and then partners. But that's what I tell clients now. I am here to educate you about how to use money and show you all the ways to use it. And then it's your decision to make the choice ultimately, because I can't make the choices for you. I don't have your background. I don't have all of the influences that you had. So I think that's the biggest difference where I found my voice, is to explain to them. I'll spend hours with you explaining it to you, instead of just kind of, here's what it is, here's what you should do. Like I just have that teacher's heart in me. And so I'll spend extra time to ensure that I can teach you all the different ways so that you can make the best decision. I'm not making the decision for you. And that's kind of my biggest, I think, distincting factor, the difference. Not that she made decisions for people, but my team is even like, well, we have to give a recommendation. I said, no, we don't have to do anything.
Right.
We have to make sure they understand all the consequences and all of the benefits, and then let them make the decision.
You empower them.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hoping to do.
I love that. I think this reminds me of when we all started having dinners together, that the common thread among us is how much we love to teach others to do it better. Right. Right. And I think that's like right on your brand.
Absolutely.
So let's fast forward and kind of like, you made that leap. You've got your own name. You've got your own vibe. What changed and what didn't?
What changed, I think, is the energy. I'm an energy person. I'm very much about positive energy. I think I bring high energy to everything that I do, even with my clients. And sometimes I talk a little too fast, and my team's like, I even had a client go, man, you clearly love what you do. He's like, I can just, your animation, you're like, as soon as you started talking about my investments, you like got turned on. And I was like, well, I just like what I did. He's like, no, I think you love what you do. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'll go with you on that. So I think the energy changed from being like, and not that this is anything on Debbie, it's just the drab money conversation, right? Anyone who comes in to talk to us, even with Debbie, would leave happy, right? Like they knew what was going on in their money, or what was, how they would fund something, whatever that looked like. Everyone, you come into a financial analysis meeting and you're like, oh God, right? Anyone.
I don't know. I've never had anyone experience that in my office.
Yeah, no shit, right? I mean, they walk in like, oh, we got to talk about money. And then I just want them to leave happy, like, empowered, like, where your stuff is. So go do what you love to do, and let's move on. So that's the part that I think I changed the energy and bring a lot of energy to the situation. What was the other part of the question? I forgot.
What changed or what didn't?
What didn't? Our service levels.
Okay.
Debbie had a huge responsibility towards the customer, and we carry that on with our customers, is the service level. Getting back to a client, making sure that you're communicating with them proactively. It's not reactive. So that didn't change, and I appreciate that, what she taught us in that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, proactive customer service is it's funny because oftentimes as business owners, we are reactive. It's reactive customer service. I love that not only was that a value that Debbie instilled, but one that is part of her legacy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is great.
So we like to do takeaways, right?
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, I know. I'm so sorry, but we gotta give it to us. So this is
have to
for
do it.
Gotta do
people
it.
that is really considering rebranding. Give me 3 signs it's actually time to rebrand.
You feel lost.
Feel lost?
Okay, as a business owner, you can't see the light, like you've lost your identity. Feel lost. You're not working with clients that you enjoy working with.
Another great one. Bingo. Get more clients.
Okay, and a third one, you want to refresh. You need a change in your life. This is a great way to do it within your business, and to refresh everything that you're doing. So I would say that.
Okay, sounds
My
great.
3.
That's a great answer.
I like that. So you feel lost. I hope y'all listening. You feel like you need to refresh, and you need to get more clients you love. Y'all got that right. All right. So one thing a person may forget to budget in a rebrand. What's one thing they may forget? They got the website, they got the logo. What is something that maybe was unexpected for you?
I don't know that it's unexpected, but the collateral, all the things to show your brand.
Everything changes.
Okay?
Ooh, yes.
Your tablecloths.
Yes.
Your little flags that you want to hang out when you're at an event, right? Your letterhead.
Right.
Okay, your envelopes, like all the things. Like you think, okay, I got the website, I got all this. No. Then it's all the little collateral, your tchotchke, if you give things away, okay? I still have, I don't know how many little planters that say money counts, and I'm like, what the heck am I going to do with these now?
Right.
I want to grow together still, but I want to grow as Solaris now. So, all the things that you use on the day-to-day or to promote yourself. I forgot about all of that stuff, honestly.
That is so incredible, because it is true. And I think we've experienced this to some level as we started this podcast.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're like, oh, but like we need cars.
this.
Oh, but well, like we need that and we need that. And I'm like, oh my God, all of these things that we need.
I think,
So that's awesome. Yeah. I mean, and it's true. People forget
Yeah, we do.
that there's all of these things that go along. It's not just creating the logos. Where is the logo going to go?
right.
Right.
And I think the thing that people forget, and this really happened with Nicole's company too, is time. And there's a big difference between starting a brand, which is what Breaking Even Better did. And again, I'm the marketing expert. I'm a part of this. So we, of course, had a little bit of an advantage, a significant advantage in our ability to kind of put together a brand. And then Carolina brought some talent from her own really family, but also just from your network to,
yes.
you know, design the logo and having Ileana handle our social media. So that's very helpful. Starting a brand is one thing. What you did was rebrand, and that takes time. So that's the one other commodity that tends to get used when rebranding.
good
If I
point.
can weigh that in, there's time.
Yeah, and I would add to that not only time but courage.
Oh,
Very much.
yes.
I
Completely
think
agree.
it takes
That
a
too.
lot of courage to to actually make it happen and then embrace that change, because it's what we most fear in life is change,
Yeah.
Right.
right? So
Last question, and I'll close this out. But what is one tip that you have or that you need for helping clients fall in love with your new brand? I can tell you what I see.
I was going to say, she just shows up.
I know. I see the earrings. Is the whole symbol, everything. I see it. So what do you do? What do you feel like you do?
I just live the brand.
Just live the brand.
do.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it was
You are
it
sunshine.
was me, like on the inside out, like, and so now I just live it. Like, I would say find that's why I needed to spend time with the name and needed it to resonate in who I am on a daily basis, so that I could just live and be who I am and exuberate the energy that I have for what I do. And that's what Solaris is all about.
that's amazing.
It really is amazing.
Yeah. So Nicole, how do people find you? Where can they connect with you to make their $1 million multiply?
Actual fun money, as opposed to just worry about your spreadsheets and your money and your, you know, but to actually come and learn how to make their money fun for them.
Yeah, so the best place to find us is on our amazing new website, SolarisStrategicWealth.com. And we're also on Facebook and LinkedIn, very active in LinkedIn. So find us, friend us, we'll get back to you. And, there's a link to contact us on the website, and we'd love to hear from you. We really enjoy what we do, and I love teaching people about money and how to use it.
All right. For everyone listening, if you found something that doesn't feel right in your business and you're trying to figure out if this is something you want to do, ask yourself those hard questions Nicole asked herself. Don't ignore it.
All right, guys. Well, until next time, let's keep breaking even better.
That's it. Thank you so much for listening to the Breaking Even Better podcast. If you've enjoyed this episode, please take a minute to leave us a review on Apple Podcasts and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content. To connect with our podcast or any of us individually, make sure you head to the show notes for all the links you need. See you in the next episode.